Okay, so I'm back with another broadcast. Going to be discussing a few topics. Like I said the other day, I was going to do a video either on Friday or yesterday, which was Saturday. But I didn't get around to it. So here I am on today, which is Sunday the 21st, I believe. Anyways, I'm going to be discussing some components, some aspects, and some things concerning MKUltra and COINTELPRO. Yes, because I'm a whistleblower. I discuss things, of that nature. So I'm gonna give a definition of gaslighting. I got this off of Wikipedia. Oh no, I got this. Yes, I got this off of Wikipedia. I guess I probably could have got it out of the dictionary. But anyways, gaslighting is a form of emotional and psychological manipulation in which a person or a group covertly sows seeds of doubt in a targeted individual or group, making them question their own memory, perception, or judgment, often evoking in them cognitive dissonance and other changes including low self-esteem. Gaslighting is a tactic in which a person or entity, in order to gain power, makes a victim question the reality. Using denial, misdirection, contradiction, and misinformation attempts to destabilize the victim and delegitimize the victim's beliefs. Instances can range from the denial by an abuser that previous abusive incidents occurred to the staging of bizarre events by the abuser with the intention of disorienting the victim. Okay, so that's what gaslighting is, which is part of MKUltra, and also psychological emotional abuse. Okay, so moving on. Project MK-ULTRA, also called CIA mind control, is the code name given to a program of experiments on human subjects that were designed and undertaken by the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, some of which were illegal. Experiments on humans were intended to identify and develop drugs and procedures to be used in interrogations in order to weaken the individual and force confessions through mind control, which would obviously be false confessions. The project was organized through the Office of Scientific Intelligence of the CIA and coordinated with the United States Army Biological Warfare Laboratories. Code name for drug-related experiments were Project Bluebird and Project Artichoke. So as I've said before, the military is, indeed a part of, experimentation, illegal experiments and all these kinds of things. The CIA as well. The operation was officially sanctioned in 1953, reduced in scope in 1964, and further curtailed in 1967. It was officially halted in 1973, which is a lie because it still goes on today. But they say it ended in the 1970s, but it's a lie. The program engaged in many illegal activities, including the use of U.S. and Canadian citizens as its unwitting test subjects, which led to controversy regarding its legitimacy. And I'm going to tell how all this ties in with gangstalking, which I'm a victim of. But anyways, MKUltra used numerous methods to manipulate its subjects' mental states and brain functions. Techniques included the covert administration of high doses of psychoactive drugs, especially LSD, and other chemicals, electroshocks, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, isolation, verbal and sexual abuse, as well as other forms of torture. Okay, so I've talked about this before, how they do the covert administering of drugs, they use needles and stuff like that to inject people with different things. I've heard several TIs say this, that they've been injected with different things, which I'm sure is most likely true. Other chemicals, I'm not sure exactly what kind of chemicals, but I'm sure that's true as well. Electroshocks. Now, back in the day, you know, in the movies where they had, like, the people in the mental institutions or asylums or whatever, they would use electroshock therapy, which they would use those little machines and put the things on the side of their head. Now they apparently have technology where they can shock you from a distance. So, anyways, hypnosis, that's just, you know about hypnosis, you can look that up. Sensory deprivation, I'm not sure about that. Isolation is where, you know, they try to make everyone hate you and, you know, get you alone, so, you know, you have nowhere to run, you have nowhere to run to, but that doesn't always work. Verbal and sexual abuse, of course you know what that is. Other forms of torture. Now, other forms of torture can include sleep deprivation, which is lack of sleep. You know, they do things to keep you from sleeping, you know, all these kinds of things. Scare tactics, you know, things like trying to run you over. You know, people have attempted to run me over. They've attempted to, you know, place different things, say different things to try to scare me, none of which have worked. So, anyways, we'll look at that later. COINTELPRO, moving on to COINTELPRO. COINTELPRO was a series of covert and illegal projects conducted by the United States Federal Bureau of Investigation, or FBI, aiming at surveilling, infiltrating, discrediting, and disrupting political organizations. FBI records show that COINTELPRO resources targeted groups and individuals that the FBI deemed subversive, including feminist organizations, the Communist Party USA, anti-Vietnam War organizers, activists of the Civil Rights Movement or Black Power Movement, environmentalists and animal rights organizations, the American Indian Movement, independence movements, and a variety of organizations that were part of the broader New Left. As far as that, they target pretty much anyone who speaks out against the patriarchy or the elites, the 1%, you know, those types of people. They also, you know, go after, you know, civil rights or minorities and, you know, things of this nature. The program also targeted the KKK in 1964, which was interesting, but I'm not too much concerned with the KKK because, you know, they're a hate group, so anyways. COINTELPRO is the government's war against dissent. If you don't know what dissent is, basically it's speaking out, like I said, against the patriarchy, against, you know, the status quo, against the majority, okay? You know, being someone, you know, who's a free thinker, someone with a mind. Now, how does all this tie in to gangstalking? Okay. Sorry about hair. It's in my mouth. Anyways, as I've said before, they use gangstalking, aka organized community-based harassment and stalking. It's basically, as I've said before, a continuation of Song, which started in East Germany in the 1930s, I believe it was, and now it's a continuation of, you know, that, the stalks and all this kind of stuff. So, you know, they'll use people to surveil, you know, to keep an eye on you, to try to keep you, what's the word? To try to control you, basically, but to try to control your behavior and all this kind of thing, basically. To keep you in line, that's what I'm trying to say, to keep you in line. But the whole thing behind that, though, is that they target people who follow the law. So, you know, let's speak out, you know, against things. So, you know, and they use felons and all these kinds of things, and different people, you know, different walks of life, but, you know, a lot of them are felons and things, ex-cons and things, to target, you know, to follow and harass you. I found something interesting on a friend of mine's Facebook who is a targeted individual. It was a picture, and I'm going to tell you what the picture said. It said 85% of my gang stalkers, I just put stalkers and harassers, are black males, 10% black females. These same domestic, street, and vehicular terrorists, which is what they are domestic terrorists, are screaming Black Lives Matter. It said, I'm black and they terrorize me like my life doesn't matter. Illegally targeted individuals' lives matter. So basically, she's another one. She's a black female who is targeted by mostly black men and black females. You know, and I've heard this from other black, TIs as well, and some white as well. So anyways, gang stalkers are haters. I'm going to give you a list. 5 reasons why haters hate. Number 1, you've improved. Haters hate when people become better. You're doing well. Haters are overjealous. You surpassed them. Haters can't stand winners. You didn't fail. Haters wanted you to. They expected it. You evolved. Haters didn't. As I've said before, and as I said, my friends say the same thing. These people are the lives, the bottom of the barrel. They try to bring you down because that's where they are, at the bottom. And they don't see themselves rising up. They don't try to better themselves. They see people who try to better themselves and they get jealous, and it's really sad and pathetic, but anyways, praise the Lord, Jesus Christ. I have some verses, to share. I think I've shared these before, but I'm going to share them again. It's always good to share, things of this nature. So Ephesians 5:11 states, this is the NIV version, have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose it. The King James Version says, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them, which is the same thing. Reprove means expose. But basically, like I said, this is what we do. We expose what these suckers do on a daily basis. John 15:18 states, NIV, if the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. King James Version, if the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. And the me here, if the world hates you, keep in mind it hated me first. The me here is Jesus Christ, who was also a targeted individual. Romans 12:2 says, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to discern what is the good, pleasing, and perfect will of God. 2 Corinthians 11:15 states, it is not surprising then if his servants masquerade as servants of righteousness, their end will correspond to their actions. The servants here are talking about minions of Satan, children of darkness, basically, people who do evil, anyone who does evil, gang stalkers included, because but yeah, they'll try to play it off like they're vigilantes, like they're doing what's right and lawful, when really what they're doing is illegal. Believe me, it's illegal. Because stalking is illegal, harassment is illegal. Anyways, and as it says, their end will correspond to their actions, meaning karma will kick their ass. And I hope it kicks their ass as well. Everything? I think that's all I have to say right now. But as I always say, I pray for the strength of targeted individuals. I pray for you all. I think about you all the time. I think about you daily. I also want to thank my supporters and, people who've stood beside me, behind me, and all these kinds of things. I love you so much. I thank God for you every day. there's so much going on in the world with COVID-19 and, all these other things, all these shootings and things, I want to say more, but I'm gonna save it for another video or broadcast, and things. This will be going up on YouTube, so, I'll also watch it there, but I had to make it on here so I could upload it to YouTube. So anyways, I think I've stated my piece on this subject. I'll have more videos out. As I said, I don't care about popularity. I don't care if people don't like me. I'm going to say what needs to be said. And if you don't like the truth, then that's your problem, not mine. Anyways, as I always say, be bold, be brave, be fabulous to you, and above all, always be true to you. Smooches.